Wow.
It's R1. Sorry, my bad. I saw a Nidalee behind the players and I was like, hold on a minute.
Like, this is exactly what we were talking about in the break off of the broadcast. Like, get this Lillia away from Croco. Croco, who's been running the series on the Lillia, MilkyWay takes that away.
Do it, please. Lock in Renekton Nidalee right here. This is absolute dominance for the top side of the map. Croco has been absolutely dictating how that jungle goes. And I feel like, if anything, Nidalee is a very heavy bully champion in the jungle. Now, surrounded by Tristana and a Renekton, you also have setup, you've got push through that Tristana as well. I feel like FPX are going to need really strong lanes going up against AL to allow MilkyWay some time to breathe. Yes, finally, a Ksante. I never knew I was going to celebrate this champion this much on the top side, but they need some stability on the top side. No more Aurora. It's not up to Zdz. It's just a easier to execute compositions than Nidalee locked in by Croco. I love this. There's pressure with the Renekton. There's perma push with the Tristana. There's nothing Nidalee can't do with double lane prio.
So Croco gets a Nidalee. Let's see if MilkyWay can match it on that Lillia. Now we move into banning away some signatures, right? The Rumble is banned from life. The Pike also banned away from life. Getting rid of the comfort and turning it into a somewhat standard bottom lane. And guess what? Ezreal is up and available. So AL could even just go Ezreal for Hope next and leave last pick for support.
I'm specifically really liking the Pike ban right here because life would be roaming the map, which would make Croco's life much more difficult in depriving MilkyWay off of his own jungle, which he has been doing during the first 2 games of this series. So I'm loving the Rakan, I'm loving the Pike. You're giving away more sturdy, sort of very straightforward engaged champions like the Rel. The Alistar is going to be taken away, so I'm expecting the Rel to come through from life right here. He could go towards something like the Braum if he really wants to play towards that. It's not good. Oh, he is. He is. It's going to be Deokdam on the Caitlyn and life on the Braum.
I feel like life is maybe saying, look, you're going to try and dive the spot, I think. let's lock in a Braum with that Alistar there, with a Nidalee, with a Tristana that could roam, maybe. But we'll have to see. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of hard engage on the side of FPX. It could be difficult for them to start fights on their own terms. But for AL, just looking for an AD carry that realistically you can quite happily go for this utility pick of the Jhin when you've got Tristana and Nidalee Renekton on the top side. You can be the one to help start that fight with the curtain call.
That was a recipe for disaster with FPX, with that Caitlyn down bot lane. They played it versus TT. It did not go well. They got deprived of experience early on, and Caitlyn wants to be a very lane-dominant AD carry. Let's see if Deokdam and Life can actually bring this duo to life versus AL. All eyes for me on Croco. He's got Tristana, he's got Renekton, he's got mega setup towards the top side of the map. Can he shut down MilkyWay over again and pretty much seal the coffin and allow JDG fans to also be happy by taking FPX out?
Can they do it? I mean, they've got a lot of power in that top side, but equally, you expect MilkyWay to be looking towards that bottom lane. He's got a Caitlyn Braum to play around. He's on the Lillia, so very, very fast clear to get down towards that bottom side and maybe try and force an advantage somewhere. FPX, they've got to do something. The story of MilkyWay and this team has been incredible this year. That spring was unbelievable. Summer, they've managed to make it into the Ascend group. They made it so far. They've made it into the second round of playoffs. But now 0-2 down. Surely this story doesn't end like this. FPX, last chance to show us that they truly are those Phoenixes, that they can be reborn and redeemed here in game number 3 of the series, up against anyone's legend. There's a big old play down bot side here from FPX. Hope is trading really aggressive with Deokdam, but Life is moving over the slow lands onto Kael. Not Hope, Kael, sorry, as they will get underneath their tower. Life going to be able to get some deep vision though. they're going to try and cancel the recalls here. They will be able to succeed in cancelling those recalls. Kael going to stand to block life. Make sure his AD carry can get back to base, but Deokdam can't. Well played by Kael. Gets his AD carry at advantage.
Kael also blocking the Q, very important from life. It would have been hopes, probably the cleanse or flash or both, if that had hit onto the AD carry of AL. And we mentioned how important this is for FPX, but for AL, making it for the first time in playoffs. They missed playoffs for one game in spring, getting Taba in, getting Ala in, seeing the resurgence, the restructure of the team and how well they were playing at the start of summer. And actually fumbling towards the end, coming off of a 5-series even, lose streak right here. Showing that they have bounced back, showing us the ways that they can play around their vision, around the dominant lanes. Has been honestly a breath of fresh air. A lot of people, when they saw AL back at the start of summer, they were like, wow, we do want to see this team at Worlds. And I will agree, I feel like this team, with the way they read FPX so far, the way they play through their early games, I also want to see them at Worlds because they are playing such calculated League of Legends.
Yeah. And it's fun to think about the standings right now and which teams we might end up seeing at Worlds, because JDG have sort of fallen there, relying on this series just to have a chance of making it. FPX on the cusp here, and leaves AL. It leaves teams like Weibo, obviously, but then teams like NIP that are making a run in the upper bracket, keep their own dreams alive. Maybe Rookie can make it after all. I think everyone had just about given up until playoffs began, and that is just the LPL in a nutshell, isn't it? Think one thing and then playoffs is a whole different story. It always is.
I don't want to be an overreaction Andy right here, but did Croco take the chickens again?
I don't know. I don't think he did. I don't think he did. Wait, did he? Yeah, maybe he did. He's only got 24 CS, right? After the red buff, so that's only his
Alright, so he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay. Alright, it was just MilkyWay starting, as usual, on the Lillia at his chickens. You know, at this point, I'm just used to all the chickens belonging to Croco, so I assumed, as he was further ahead in terms of farming, he will not find MilkyWay in the jungle. Ooh.
MilkyWay knocked up Croco, moving over, and there we go, flash from MilkyWay. Hope could be in trouble though, as Life gets the passive down. Hope is going to have to flash, surely Cleanse comes out instead, and Life is pretty chunked. Root flashed away from AL. They've scored themselves a crab, but they want more than a crab at this point. They want themselves a scrap. AL on the front line, hunting for that engage. Won't be able to find the fight, but Croco move over, get the scuttle crab. No, again, just ignoring the crab here, looking for a fight instead. Needs to be careful though, because MilkyWay is full HP in that brush. I don't think this is going to turn into a fight, but then again, I mean, if MilkyWay finishes the recall, it's a big advantage for AL, which is still a knife's edge the whole time. As AL, I think, are just going to finish trying to push this wave in. He's trying to let his bot lane get the wave in. No, he's trying to find a kill onto Life instead. Croco goes in. One more auto onto Life. First blood, but at what cost? Because Deokdam is free firing and answers. MilkyWay charges forward, but goes wide on the swirl seed. The root sidestep by Deokdam. It's 1-for-1.
Two beautiful traps set down by Deokdam right there. Pinning Croco, putting as much damage as they can onto him. Ending up killing the Nidalee. The trade with the Nidalee, with the Caitlyn is so advantageous for FPX. When you do pick that Caitlyn down the bot lane, you want her head. You want her to be chipping on these towers. You want her to pin opponents under their own towers to just keep pressuring. This is an AD Ziggs, pretty much. So getting ahead right there, that was why Croco was also staying around, making sure that this Caitlyn cannot pressure that lane, potentially getting a summoner spell right there. Ooh,
spear lands from Croco, that's big damage onto MilkyWay, and Zdz is chunked as well. MilkyWay down to 300 HP, a trap in the brush as the Gromp blocks the spear, but Kael's in trouble in the mid lane, as here comes Kael to set Shanks up, and there we have it, mid lane won again.
Again, Kael with a beautiful roam towards that mid lane. Doesn't show up too early. He's not the one starting the play. He's the one to finish it. Beautiful headbutt overrides right there. Let's watch this one more time. They know that Croco is going to jump onto life, so Deokdam had preemptively put a trap down onto Croco, and then when he gets tagged by the Braum passive and gets stunned, another trap goes down underneath Croco. Croco ate one too many cupcakes. Goal capitalized on for that one.
Certainly did, and Croco has cleared out this top side of the jungle when he forced away MilkyWay earlier. Finishes the Wolves, immediately goes to Grobes. Ala had proxied a wave while Croco was on those Wolves because he knew he was safe to just abandon the top lane. Now MilkyWay moves to the bottom side. Can he influence this bottom lane? MilkyWay has to find a way into this game.
It has looked much easier for him, at least on the Lillia right here. A little bit of a faster clear, a lot more self-agency with the champion as well. He knows that Croco is busy towards the top side of the map, so he is invading a little bit more easily right now, having some priority through any lane. And I feel like if anything, Life and Deokdam have been a ray of shining light for FPX. They have been the ones that have tried to get the team going. So MilkyWay playing towards the bot side of the map feels a bit safer. Shanks again.
Fight in the jungle. MilkyWay was going for the invade, but he's caught out. In the meantime, though, there's a kill, and MilkyWay still survives. Hope now in trouble as Croco was put to sleep, and FPX winning this skirmish. This is what we needed to see. Croco, good hunt for a spear here. Doesn't know that MilkyWay's in the brush. Flashes the swirl seed, transforms and goes wide on the javelin, and Life is going to try and block his exit. But Croco should be good on this one as he jumps sideways out to safety.
Everyone hopping and skipping around in this one. MilkyWay going aggressive, but again, now he has the backup of Deokdam and Life on that Caitlyn Braum. It has seemed so oppressive so far in the early game, and yes, you expect Jhin to fall behind into the Caitlyn, but Isaac, the F-Sword in Deokdam's inventory of 1,000 gold. It's a whole how the tables have turned.
Great angle for Zdz. Ala pops the Dominus, something Zdz, or something Kael, sorry, didn't manage to do earlier on in the series. Ala took another tower shot. Zdz surely finds a solo kill. Beautifully done.
FPX absolutely need these plays. Zdz steps up onto his Ksante. One of the champions that he got known for in the LPL. He's played so much of it. He's looked really good on that as well. Ale, it's one more extra tower shot. What is with AL and eating things that shouldn't be? The tower shot, the double cupcake from Croco as well. AL absolutely overextending these plays, and FPX, we mentioned how fast they are and capitalizing onto these mistakes. Let's watch one more time. The Q3 will hit beautifully, turning him back onto the tower. That was 2 tower shots already tanked by Ale. And even though Ale gets a fantastic trade out here, dodging the Q3, the fact that he dived that far forward.
It's a great trade if he's not in tower range, but he was in tower range, so Zdz.
Ecstatic.
Yeah, very, very happy with the way that one's gone. No. Lane swap, though, to shut down Zdz. In fact, it's not even a swap. Ala's here, too. And the FPX of hope flashed by Zdz. He knows what's going on. This is in trade of what's happening on the bottom side. Kael happy to tank up. There's the root. And the damage will come on through. Surely they finish the job here. There we go. Croco gets the kill. And in the meantime, Deokdam is just taking plate after plate on Caitlyn.
As we mentioned, the ADC right there, the Caitlyn, you definitely want to put her ahead, and that's exactly what FPX did. MilkyWay played primarily through that bot side of the map. They got priority. That flash was never blown onto the Caitlyn. This is why Croco early on stuck around towards the bot side of the map, because if you take that flash away from Caitlyn, she cannot be as oppressive anymore. She has to play a bit far forward, but that was never the case. Deokdam with a very good 2,000 gold early game lead, and again, he was the guy, together with Life, to keep the game slightly alive in games number 1 and number 2. Now with the Collector already finished, full boots as well. FPX are in full swing. You can take the Caitlyn towards the top side of the map. Reminder, when you are playing the Caitlyn, you need to be first in the objective to be able to set up, and that's exactly what FPX are looking for here.
And I feel like, you know, now that Lillia's been taken away from Croco, and now that we're not having these weird Aurora lanes and whatnot, suddenly we've actually got a good series of League of Legends. Suddenly, like this is the game that goes the way I expected this series to be, you know, where FPX actually show us that they can play towards a win condition, actually show us that they can take an advantage in the early game. In fact, both games in the regular split between these two teams, it was FPX with a lead to start us off. Ala dodges the swirl seed. I think he'll be okay on this one. Doesn't have a tower, but he'll walk away. And now FPX, once again, they have managed to find themselves a lead. They're 1,000 gold up. They're actually challenging AL.
I feel like you just hit the nail right on the head. It's ease of execution. MilkyWay on a faster clearing jungler than Croco. He's got priority through that bot lane of the map. He has been playing with 3 losing lanes all game.
Yep.
What can your jungler do with 3 losing lanes? He's gonna lose his entire jungle. And even though Croco had fantastic reads on the map, this time around MilkyWay had a lane to play through. You see how they're moving Caitlyn around the map to try and capitalize on those objectives, and this has been FPX's playstyle. They'll get a fed AD carry through the map, whether it's Care in the mid lane or Deokdam down the bot lane, and they'll transition them around to play for those skirmishes. Now, of course, AL here is not giving them any skirmish. They know that Caitlyn is super fed, having that collector, having the boots available to her, so they try to play as far away from her as possible. You see, giving Shanks a lot of tower plate action down the bot side of the map. Once Deokdam is straight in top lane tower.
ZDZ's trying to come underneath this tower to defend, but there's 3 players.
Fine for now.
Will survive. Now I can't get another plate, so all things considered, these trades are going so well for FPX. Deokdam is 2,000 gold up individually, and it's only getting worse as he collects yet more plates on the top side, denies yet more minion waves in that top side as well. I mean, he's 30 CS up on his lane opponent, and this tower will fall. That'll be the 2nd tower before 14 minutes. Croco, though, moves up to this top side. Double TP here onto the Nidalee trap. AL want to punish. Deokdam cannot get away with this unscathed. And Shanks tries to move in. Ala takes a huge chunk of damage. Look at the damage from Deokdam onto the Croc. But there's only so much he can do. And Deokdam will fall. Life might be next as the root does land. Kael happy to tank up the tower. And a double for Shanks.
And it feels like the nameplates have turned around. This would usually be FPX trying to punish on an AL that's taking the entire map. However, this time around, AL pulling double TP to shut down the Caitlyn. Now, in all honesty, I don't know how much shut down this Caitlyn is. Still 2.2k up. The F in the inventory. However, better AD carry usually wins, whether it's from mid lane or the bot lane munch. Shanks has been given a lot of priority on the map. He's been given a lot of resources. He's been pulled around for all those star platings. You see as he's waiting right there for all those creeps to die before he takes down the tower as well. Let's watch this one more time. Alec coming in instantly ulting up. I think he's gonna walk into a cupcake if I'm not wrong there. He walks into the cupcake and he takes a lot of damage. And this is where things start getting very worrying because Life's ultimate hit both Croco and Life. So you thought the advance might get halted right there. But AL did find themselves into the backline, and very importantly, the shutdown goal did go to Shanks as well.
Yeah, Shanks getting both of those kills with the shutdown as well. He's got a Blade of the Rune King and a Zeal, and nearly finished his cull as well. Shanks is becoming a bit of a terror on that Tristana. We'll see if Deokdam can keep his snowball rolling, though, because he's still 2,000 gold up. But again, when we talked about this Jhin in the draft, we talked about it as this kind of utility AD carry that realistically is there to set up for Shanks, Croco, and Ala. Like, he's not really going to be the one carrying himself. We'll see if he can be that setup tool. Because FPX right now with a Herald as well, with 3 Grubs, with a Caitlyn this strong, they are set up to really take objectives.
As you can see though here, a little bit of a different flavor. You see that FPX is actually able to walk into these objectives because of how much pressure they've put on the other towers. Top lane tier 1 gone, bot lane tier 1 gone. There's a lot of darkness in AL's map right now, and FPX are capitalizing onto this to try and put some pressure on the neutral objectives. It feels like, again, ease of execution has come through for FPX. Now they're using how Deokdam is in the lead to try and pressure the mid lane. Rift Herald gonna be popped in. That will be the last tier 1 tower remaining for AL, also going down. And this is going to challenge AL's control on the map. How do you regain control? You've got Alistar, you've got the Renekton. Can you walk up to those objectives?
FPX got that first Drake. They're looking for a second. Zdz happy to tank on the front line. This is going to be a full-on 5v5 as Shanks arrives on the play as well. Spear goes wide. The trap lands onto Ala. Dominus will keep him alive for a second. In fact, doesn't even get to use it. Nicely done, FPX setting up on the Drake. Get the trap, get the kill.
They could see there was a trap in there. Croco was fighting for this brush for 20 seconds straight. AL walking into traps, not capitalizing on FPX overextending, which, talking about this right now, I don't know if Ksante overextending is necessarily a mistake right here, because it looks pretty strong to me.
He does, but is he stronger than Croco, Kael, and Shanks? He might be with MilkyWay moving over, and a TP coming on in, all out onto Croco as well. The spear is max range, it doesn't quite finish the job. Kael takes a hit from Care. With the TP, it's enough to save Private Zdz.
Zdz onto the Ksante here, having a much better performance than the last two Aurora games that we saw back on one of his COP classics, if you will. And again, look, Croco's been fighting over this. Oh, he didn't put the trap in the brush. He did not put the trap in the brush, so they had no clue that it was there. Crocodile walks in, eats the cupcake, pays with his life. I'm sorry, I said that AL were completely aware. They were completely unaware, guys.
Certainly were. Ale gets rid of control ward, does get out with his life as well. And I do feel like this has been a little bit of a slower game than the other games in this series. They still had quite a lot of action, maybe less kills. But I feel like AL are a team, you know, when we saw the two games between these, never mind, we have no time to talk because Care has been caught. He just jumped straight at them.
What? There was no one around from FPX and Care just W's forward to put some damage down onto Ale. Ale's got Eclipse. Any squishy target that dives his way, he can pretty much give them the magician magic trick and make them disappear. He did require a little bit of assistance from other members of AL and a TP from Shanks, just in case there were more members from FPX. But so far, AL have been capitalizing on FPX's mistakes. The tables have definitely turned, and you can see right here how FPX have pretty good vision towards the top side of the map to try and help Care to push, but right there, Care overextending, not respecting the lack of vision on other members. Now Zdz is the one pushing towards that bot side of the map. AL are trying to figure out ways to try and advance forward into their own jungle and gain some control back.
And what was an exceptionally one-sided early game in favor of FPX is now an even game. And you can see the mid lane lead for Shanks is equal to that of the bot lane lead for Deokdam. Deokdam just finishing off that Infinity Edge now. Shanks similarly finishes off his Flicker Blade, also has that QSS for himself. And like you said before, a lot of the time it's down to which is the best AD carry on the map. We'll have to wait and see, but Hope will certainly be more useful to his team on a Jhin than Care will be on an underfed Corki.
Yeah, and Deokdam's job right there is to set up a lot of those objectives and the choke points and stuff. Oh,
it's pretty hard to kill with that Unbreakable. Kael, Unbreakable will as well. Kael low on HP, put to sleep, and the swirl seed finishes the job. FPX set up a trap on the TP as well, so they might just have Croc for dessert. FPX, beautiful jungle play, and they send AL away.
I was about to say, FPX are looking for AL to walk into them when you aggress. The Caitlyn is not as potent as if you're walking into them onto the traps. FPX are using the lead that they have on the map in terms of vision. AL are just walking into them. They cannot necessarily capitalize on the lead that Shanks has right now, and because Shanks has to overgroup because he's the only one fed in the team. You see how Care is actually one level up on the sideline right now, level 13 onto the Corki. And even though the gold lead is 2,000 in favor of Shanks, Care has been getting a bunch of those waves on the sideline. He's been a threat with some that we don't necessarily see a lot by FPX playing those sidelines. Let's watch this one more time. Too many unbreakables. Unbreakable from the Braum, unbreakable from the Alistar. Who's going to be the more durable on the map right there? And it was actually the Braum getting out. MilkyWay almost dying there as well. And there's one thing you can't do in front of the Caitlyn. One is TP, two is Zonias. Yeah. Ale did the first one of the two. Ended up paying for eating yet another cupcake.
I think the tough thing as well is, like, what are the issues that this... Oh, hang on, Shanks. Okay, he's all right. Gets his bomb off. That's half his health gone, though. Like, that is just not really ideal, is it? Third Drake coming up as well. I feel like FPX surely just win the fight at this point in the game. But I don't know, maybe not. We'll have to see. Shanks trying to heal off of the Gromp in the meantime. We'll be able to do so. Maybe this time, when you're not fighting in the jungle into these traps, maybe this is your angle for the side of AL.
Ale is also looking for a flank right here. Kael is blocking that one for him. Kael on the other side again. When there's too many flanks,
look at
it will be an undernumbered group.
Ale in the backside of the Dragon Pit. Kael looking for the flash over the wall. Ale pops the Dominus and looks for MilkyWay here. In they go, and the Dragon is stolen. Croc in the middle of everyone, but Kael's going to go down, and the Croc was taken out by Zdz, so maybe a chance for FPX to turn this into a game and turn this into a series. They find two, and they look to Baron.
Zdz was so clutch there. Ale sneaked into the back brush, looking for MilkyWay, even flashed in, and Zdz takes him and shoves him back out of the map. This could have been absolutely disastrous if Ale could actually stay in contact with a bunch of those targets. But now FPX, they've got numbers advantage. Croco is still in there, but they're gonna have to make sure that he doesn't have access to the pit.
Health bars aren't that healthy for FPX, and Croco's in the area for a steal. MilkyWay chunked out, and Shanks is threatening on the bottom side. He's 3v5 in the Baron pit, and the 3 win it out. Croco moves into the back of the Baron pit as Kael arrives on the scene, but Shanks is one-shot. Deokdam turns it around as Kael gets 3, and now the spike fight, and MilkyWay wins those. FPX have woken up. They're here to play.
FPX played this team fight fantastically. When they started getting poked down by the curtain call, they pulled back, and once all the cooldowns were down for AL, they re-engaged the fight. They one-shot Shanks, and guess what? That's the whole threat gone. Look at this play yet again. Ale has sneaked in, he's popped his dominance, and he's looking for MilkyWay. He even flashes forward for him, and Zdz is having none of that. Takes the threat out, and once Kael is gone, that's the front line gone for AL. They cannot pressure any further forward. Kael died. Ale was taken out, and the 3 squishy members trying to navigate the fight. And let's push this one more time. Curtain call is going to be called by Hope right here, soaked up mostly by Life and Zdz. And look at FPX, very patient. They pull back once all of the cooldowns were gone. They call, oh my god, Deokdam.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed Shanks.
Phenomenal combo there from Deokdam. Really well played to punish Shanks. The greater range AD carry wins, apparently. Shanks just removed from the play. I feel like AL, if they had just accepted pushing FPX off of the Baron, that's a one play. But they had to push for more, didn't they? Ale.
Oh boy.
I mean, he's 2 levels down on Kael. Kael is well and truly in the game now. W's forward, but this time it's right. Solo kill and revenge for the rest of the series.
I feel like Kael needs this so much. With how the series has gone for him and how unfortunate it's been, he really needs that confidence boost as FPX are pressuring all 3 lanes at once. Inhibitor tower mid, 2 waves pressuring on side lanes as well by Kael and Zdz. Perfect use of that Baron, not only the inhibitor, but every single auto tower remaining for AL, and 7,000 now gold in the lead for FPX. They absolutely needed this to stay alive in this series.
FPX pressuring multiple. Oh my! What even was that? Was that a headshot? That's insane damage on
Corki plus Caitlyn?
Oh, was it a rocket as well? I was going to say, just an auto is too insane. As FPX, they'll be able to finish this with ease. If there's one thing Caitlyn's good at, it's these Baron siege scenarios. Croco is hunting for spears. I think FPX know exactly where he is. And now FPX can muscle in as Zdz on a flank, but Kael sends him away. Croco flashes to safety just about. Primal Surge keeps him alive, but Kael has sacrificed his life to save his jungler. 2 inhibs down. And FPX, I think, are happy with the way that's gone. However, a reset came through and a TP's coming back in. FPX, they're not done just yet. They want to push us to 4 games in the fastest game of the series so far. FPX answer back for the crimes AL have committed in those first 2 games. The Phoenix is very much reborn.
When FPX wins, they win fast. They're decisive. They use their gold lead. That's exactly what they did here. I cannot stress enough how much of a breath of fresh air it was to see MilkyWay having a lane of priority, a lane that is winning, a lane that he can play through. Deokdam and Life keeping this series together. That Caitlyn was absolutely beautiful by Deokdam. Now the question is, moving into the next game, what's the priority in this Lillia? Because I'm expecting that AL will be choosing that blue side again, and FPX might have to ban it.
I think the ban's got to change. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to jump into game number 4.